EVN routing with EIGRP. In this video, I am going to show you how you can configure EIGRP in the EVN environment, easy virtual networking. It's so similar to the, for example, configuration of the EIGRP in the VRF environment, and I'm going to show you how you can configure named EIGRP, also traditional EIGRP. You know that EIGRP can be configured in two methods: traditional configuration, router EIGRP AS number, and the named configuration, router EIGRP name. Okay, let me to show you how you can configure the EIGRP in EVN environment. Don't forget that in this scenario, unlike the previous scenarios, I'm using for example, different range of IP addresses for VRF. Look at here. For VRF-A, I use 10.100/24 and also 10.400/24. For VRF-B, I use 10.200/24 and 10.500/24. And after that, for VRFC, I use 10.300/24 and also 10.600/24. And also, in the VNET trunk link, we can use only one range. In the EVN, we can't use different range of IP addresses for every VRF. In the VNET trunk, it's an important notation. Okay, very good. And also, finally, we should configure in R1 EIGRP with the traditional mode, okay, and in R2 EIGRP with the named mode, because I'm going to show you both type of configuration. Let me to configure first the IP addresses in this scenario, and after that I'm going to configure the EIGRP. I have the configuration of the previous video. After some change, we can use this configuration for our scenario. Okay, let me to start. R1 enconf, host name is R1, VRF definition A. Again, I'm using the VNet tag 2 for the VRF-A, and also we should enable address family IPv for unicast. Now we have VRF definition B, VNet tag is 3, address family IPv4 unicast enabled for the VRF-B, and then VRF-C, we have VNet tag 4, address family IP4 unicast. That's it. It's the same configuration with the previous video. Very good. Let's go to interface ETH00. It's an interface of VRF-A, VRF forwarding A. IP address of this interface is 10.101/24, and then I enable the interface. Very good. Let's go to interface Ethernet 01. Interface Ethernet 01 is a member of VRF-B. The IP address of this interface, as you can see, is 10.201/24, and then no shutdown. Let's go to the interface ETH02, VRF forwarding C. IP address of this interface is 10.301 and /24, and with the no shutdown. You can use different range in the VRFs, but in the link between the routers, the VNet trunk link, you can't configure different range for every VRF. Again, interface ETH03, this is the VNet trunk, and the IP address is 10.121/24 for this interface. Let's go to router 2. enconf, host name is R2, VRF definition A with VNet tag 2, VRF definition B with VNet tag 3, and VRF definition C with VNet tag 4. All of these configuration are same with the previous scenario. Okay, let's go to the Ethernet interface. Interface Ethernet 0, VRF forwarding A. Again, the IP address is 10.402. Then interface ETH01, VRF forwarding B. The IP address is 10.502. Okay, 10.502. Then interface ETH02, the IP address is 10.602. And after that, the interface ETH03, the IP address is 10.122. After that, we should configure the VPCs. The VPC1's IP address is 10.1.0.10 with the mask of 24 with the gateway of 10.1.0.1. For the VPC2, we have 10.2.0.10, okay, with the gateway of 10.2.0.1. For the VPC3, we have 10.3.0.10, and the gateway is 10.3.0.1. For the VPC4, we have 10.4.0.11, 10.4.0.11, with the gateway of 10.4.0.2. For the VPC5, we have 10.5.0.12 with the gateway of 10.5.0.2. And finally, for the VPC6, we have 10.6.0.13 with the gateway of the 10.6.0.2. That's it. This is the configuration of the, for example, IP addressing initial configuration. After that, we should remove the configuration of OSPF of the previous scenario. Now, I am going to copy the configuration of router 1 in the CLI of the router 1. Copy the configuration, and then in the CLI of R1, I'm going to paste. Very good. Now, let's go to the router 2. This is the configuration of router 2 without the configuration of the EIGRP. And then I should copy the configuration. Very good. After that, we have 6 VPCs. VPC1, this is the VPC1's configuration, IP address assignment. Then VPC2, copy again. After that, pasting in the VPC2. After that, we should copy the VPC3's IP addressing. Then here, paste it here. After that, VPC4. This is the IP addressing of the VPC4. Very good. And after that, VPC5. This is the VPC5's configuration. And finally, the last device is VPC6. Copy and paste. Now, it's time of the configuration of the EIGRP. In the router 1, I'm going to configure EIGRP with the traditional method, router EIGRP AS number. Okay, let me to configure router EIGRP with AS number here. Router config. I'm going first to show you how you can configure router EIGRP AS number. Okay, then you will go to the router config, router mode. Here, you should use this command, address family, okay, IPv4 unicast for VRF name, okay. After that, you will go to the mode of router config, router AF means address family. Here, first, you should define the autonomous of the VRF, autonomous system, autonomous number of the VRF, autonomous system AS number. Okay, if you want, you can use the autonomous system here, or you can configure autonomous system here after the VRF name, autonomous system name, and after that you can configure the, for example, network interface IP wildcard mask, the same configuration of the EIGRP without VRF. Okay, let me to show you how you can configure EIGRP here, starting from router 1. This is the router 1. Okay, router EIGRP, assume that AS number of our company is 65,000. Okay, router EIGRP 65,000. First, I'm going to configure address family IPv4 unicast for VRFA. This is for VRFA. If you want, you can use the AS number here. Look at here, autonomous system, and then 65,000. For example, assume that 65,000 is the AS number of our company and also our VRF. If you want, you can configure different AS number in every VRF, but in our scenario, as you can see, all of the VRFs are the VRFs of our company. Because of that, I'm using the same autonomous system in every VRF. If you want, you can configure different autonomous system number in every VRF. Okay, now let me to enable EIGRP on the interfaces. For example, you can configure network 10.1.0.1, 10.1.2.1, and so on and so forth. Network 10.1.0.1 quad 0. Then network 10.1.2.1 quad 0. That's it. Now I enabled EIGRP on the interface ETH00 and also ETH03.2. Do show IP EIGRP interface. We don't have any EIGRP enabled interface here. Why? Because you know that we have EIGRP on the VRFA. okay? And I didn't enable EIGRP on any interfaces in the global VRF, okay? Because of that, if you want to see show IP, EIGRP, VRFA, okay, interfaces, so easy. Yes, EIGRP is enabled in VRFA, but in VRFB, we don't have EIGRP. In VRFC, we don't have EIGRP. So easy. Let me to continue the configuration. It's better to doing the configuration with the notepad file to easier understanding. Router EIGRP 65000. Okay. Then address family IPv4 unicast for VRFA with the autonomous system, for example 65,000. If you don't configure here the autonomous system, you should configure under the address family autonomous system number, okay? Address family IP4 unicast VRFA autonomous 65,000. We have two network statements. The first is 10101 quad 0, and the second is the, for example, network 10121 quad 0, okay? 10101 then quad 0. Very good. Again, we should enable EIGRP on the address family IPv4 unicast for VRFB, okay? VRFB, and autonomous system again is 65,000. You can configure different AS number. And also the IP address is 10201, the IP address of the ETH01, and the network again is 10121. After that, we should configure the EIGRP for VRFC, okay? The interfaces IP address is 10301 and also 10121. That's it. This is the configuration of EIGRP in VRF environment, in EVN environment. Let me to copy the configuration in the R1 conf T. After that, copy the configuration. Let me check. Show IP EIGRP for VRF A interfaces. Yes, we have enabled we have two enabled interfaces in the EIGRP IPv4 interface for AS65000 for VRFA. Very good. Let's go to the VRFB. Yes, we have two enabled interface again, and also VRFC. But we don't have any neighbor. VRFC, for example, neighbor. Why? Because we didn't configure EIGRP in the R2. In R2, I'm going to configure EIGRP with the named method. You can use this syntax, router config. Router EIGRP name, okay, named mode. Again, here you should configure router config, router address family, the same command, address family. Let me to copy from here, address family IPv4 unicast, okay, IP4 unicast for the VRF name, and here again you should use the autonomous system or AS. You can use the abbreviation of the command, the autonomous system. Both of them are same, okay? The AS autonomous system, then AS number. Now we are in the router config router AF, and we should use the same command, the network interface IP and network interface IP, and then for example wildcard mask, okay? The same configuration here. Router EIGRP name, router EIGRP AS number, okay? Address family IPv4 unicast, VRF name. You can configure autonomous system number here, okay? In the number, in the traditional mode, you can configure autonomous system here and also here. But in the named mode, you should configure the autonomous system after the VRF name. Network interface IP, wildcard mask. It's so easy. Let me to show you how we can configure the router 2 here. Router EIGRP 65,000. The router EIGRP name, for example, Cisco. It's only the name. After that, address family, okay, IPv4 unicast for VRF. Then the VRF name is A. Here you can use the AS instead of using the autonomous system or a autonomous system. Both of them are same. AS, then for example 65,000, okay? Then the network command should be used. Network is 10402 quad 0. The next network is network 10121 quad 0. That's it. And after that, we can configure with the same method on the VRFB and also VRFC. This is the VRFB and this is the VRFC and this is the AS, okay? 10502 and again 10122. This is the 10122 and 10122 and 10122 and 10602 for the VRFC. Let me to review. First, VRFA 10402 this interface and 10122 this interface. Again, network 10502, the ETA01, 10122, okay, Ethernet 03.3, and then 10602, Ethernet 02, 10122, Ethernet 03.4. That's it. Let me to copy the configuration in the R2 CLI. This is the R2 CLI, okay. After that, we can copy the configuration, copy and pasting here. Yes. Now we should have three neighborship, three adjacency. As you can see, we have three neighborship. Let me to show you the neighborships. Show IP EIGRP for VRFA neighbors. Okay. Look at here. We have one neighbor in VRFA. In VRFB, okay, in VRFB we have one neighbor. In VRFC, again, we have one neighbor. If you want, you can use show IP protocol in VRFA. Okay, we have EIGRP AS65000 with the name EIGRP for the VRFA and also VRFB and also VRFC. Okay, all of them are same. And then let me check the routing table of R1 for VRFA. Show IP route VRFA. As you can see, in VRFA, we received one EIGRP route 10400/24. It's okay. Then for VRFB, we receive one another EIGRP route 10500. It's okay. And after that, for VRFC, we receive one another EIGRP route 10600/24, these networks. And now let me check the R2's routing table. Show IP route EIGRP. Show IP route, for example, for VRFA. Look at here. We receive EIGRP route of 10100/24 for VRFA, these networks. And then show IP route VRFB. We receive 10200 in R2. And finally, show IP route VRFC. We receive 10300/24. Now we can check the connectivity between the VPCs. From VPC1, ping 104.0.11, the IP of VPC4. Yes, we have connectivity. Then from VPC2, please ping 10.5.0.12. Yes, we have connectivity. And then VPC3, ping 10.6.0.13. Yes, we have connectivity. And this is the configuration of the EIGRP in the EVN environment. All of the configuration is same as the configuration of the, for example, VRF. But don't forget, in VRF Lite, we can configure different IP addresses for sub-interfaces in the link between R1 and R2. But in the EVN environment, we can't configure different IP address for the VNet trunk. Finally, in R1, let me to show you some interesting command. First, show VNet commands. Show VNet brief. Okay, VNet means virtual networks. These commands give brief explanation about the virtual networks. Show VNet brief. In this scenario, we have three VNet. The first VNet name is A. The second VNet is B. And the third VNet is C. Okay, and the tag of VNet A is 2. The tag of VNet B is 3. The tag of VNet C is 4. And the VNet protocol is IPv4 because we enabled address family IPv4 unicast in the VRF definition command. And also we have these interfaces for the, for example, every VNet. Don't forget, this command is similar to the show VRF or show VRF interfaces, okay, but this is better command because here we can see the tags, okay. And in VRF, if you want to see the tag, you should use the show VRF detail. In VRF detail, you can see the tag. Very good. The first command is show VNet brief. The second command is show VNet contours. Look at here. We can configure maximum 32 VNets in a router. Don't forget, the maximum number of virtual networks is 32. The current number of VNets configured in this scenario is 3 VNet. The current number of VNet trunk interface is 1 VNet trunk interface in this router. The current number of VNet sub interface is 3. You know that this configuration is derived from our configuration. The current number of VNet forwarding interface is 6. Why? Because we have 3 VNet interface, ETH00, ETH01, ETH02, and also ETH03.2, 0.3, and 0.4. Let me to show you again, show drive config. In drive config, you can see the 3 physical interface, okay, and also 3 sub interface, okay. Because of that, we have 6 VNet interface. Show VNet counters, okay. Very good. The next command, show VNet, you can use the, for example, show VNet detail. In show VNet detail, we have detail information for every VNet. It's like the show VRF detail. And after that, show, for example, VNet interfaces. Here, you can see the VNet interfaces, ETH00, upstate, VNet A, 01, VNet B, 02, VNet C, and also 3 sub interface. The tag is here, and the IP address of every interface are here. Very good. Then show, for example, VNet tag. If you want to see the tag of the VNets only, you can use the show VNet tag. Or if you want to see detail about the every VNet you want, show VNet A, you can use the show VNet A, for example. And assume that you want to see the, for example, show VNet B. Okay, VNet, we have the VNet B. Very good. This is the some useful commands for monitoring the VNets. Now you learned about the configuration of the EIGRP in EVN environment or in VRF environment. As you saw, the configuration of EIGRP in the EVN environment is same as the configuration of EIGRP in the VRF environment.